Hey everybody, welcome to Fresh Out the Box, does TTRPG stuff. I am the Game Master Extraordinaire and Board Game Guru, Johananon.
I'm Casualty CDG, and today I'm stuck inside the computer, and I've been stuck inside this small screen all day, Jahan. I'm glad you showed up. Can you help me out, please?
No!
Oh god, it hurts! Oh, stop! Oh, Jesus!
What are we doing today, Gary? What are we talking about today?
We're gonna play a superhero game at some point in the next few weeks.
We are?
Yes, and so you and I are going to go through a series of superhero games on the stream, and I think we're going to kind of put a thumb on which one we want to play. We've got a few on the list right now. Today we're going to be taking a look at Monty Cook Games' Cypher System, which is a whole system of itself, but particularly we're going to be looking at Claim the Sky, which is their superhero sort of module, I guess, for Cypher System.
So Cypher System is a like a general rule system, much like GURPS or Age or any of those that can be applied to many different genres of play. This book, which I will show now, even details 9 different genres that are applicable and has special rules for and all that stuff. There's also supplementary books that I backed a lot of this on Kickstarter. I actually paid for this book. They didn't give it to us. I bought it.
Wow.
But hey, you can't win them all. But
I believe you've gone on the record to say, I'm not buying any more books.
To be fair, I bought this before I said that.
To be fair,
I actually bought this book a long time ago.
I think everyone who says they're not going to buy any more tabletop books buys more tabletop books.
Well, I mean for the show. I'll buy my own for sure.
Well, yeah, but then that's just a stone's throw away from us having it on the show. If you already own it, it's like, well, we might as well play it.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I know. I have a book downstairs, a Pathfinder 2nd edition. I'm not sure if we're ever gonna play it.
Yeah, it's an issue. But hey, here we are. We have Cypher System. Yeah, I backed this on Kickstarter. I backed Heroes of the Cypher System on Kickstarter, which is a Kickstarter that had Claim the Sky and First Responders books, which are, so there's actually a Heroes book where you're firefighters, cops, EMTs, that kind of stuff. Which I thought was interesting. I didn't necessarily need it, but it came with the other one, so I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I backed at the level that gives me this book as well. And I'm excited to learn an entirely new system. It's been a while since we've done like one of these. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Does it have all the system rules in the Claim the Sky book, or are we going to need to have both?
Oh, you're going to need to have both, I think.
Oh.
Don't quote me on that because I don't know, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't mind that. I'm just curious for people who don't own the system yet.
Yeah, I think that Claim the Sky is a supplement.
Well, here, John, it is, I don't know, maybe you're right, but it is 226 pages.
It is.
That's a fat supplement to not have the rules.
It is. Let's see. Well, I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. Gaming with Superpowers, Boundless. Those are the only two. There's two parts to this book.
Yeah, I think you're
15 chapters. No, it does not look like there are any. Yeah, I think I am right.
Oof. Okay.
Artwork is hot fire, though. But yeah, so here's the table of contents, just to show you what you're looking at. Cypher System. They explain it very quickly, it looks like, in the first 3 pages. Characters are a much larger section. And then there's more rules. And then genres of play, which I think is interesting to note. In this instance, a lot of times I wouldn't necessarily look at the table of contents and be like, hey, look at this. But they have fantasy, modern, sci-fi, horror, romance, superheroes, post-apocalyptic, fairy tale, and historical as genres of play for Cypher System, which I think is really cool. What's romance? It's funny, actually, because the first time I ever heard of a romance TTRPG was from Troy at Green Road, and when he was talking about how Blue Rose is kind of like a romantic fantasy, which is interesting. I haven't played anything like that before. But no, this one has a lot of cool stuff. I love post-apocalyptic, superhero, sci-fi, modern. I love all that stuff.
So romance actually doesn't even mean that everyone is in a romantic relationship. What it is a type of play that hinges on emotional conflict. And, a lot of the things you're dealing with are pulling at your character's heartstrings, and everyone who's at the table is playing in a very emotional.
It's like a drama.
Way. Yes,
it's
very dramatic, and they're very emotional. That's right.
Hey, look, I have a copy of Monty Cook's signature. Look at that.
Kind of weird. Oh, you should put it on a check and write us a check for $40
to get the money back for the book.
$40 would go a long way. We're
just because we're that poor. Okay.
Yeah, we're starving artist streamers.
Help!
We're stuck in the box.
You can stream. You can support us by subscribing. You don't have to. You're probably poor too.
Yeah, that's right. If you like us, you're not. You're probably not rich. You probably.
Yeah, if you like us, you probably have low self-control. Yeah, you're probably broke.
You like snacks?
But yeah, so chapter 1, Worlds of Adventure. That's a very small chapter because it goes right to chapter 2 on the next page. All right.
Oh fuck, that's good.
Yeah, so it's called Worlds of Adventure, and this is just kind of like check us out. Look at what we're doing. I think this might be a quote from Monty Cook. So maybe we should read it.
A quote from the man himself.
Yeah. Ultimately, what we all want is to play precisely the game we want to play. Game masters all have a perfect setting in the back of their brain. Players have the one character idea that would be their best character ever, if they could just have a chance to make and play them. Those dreams of playing exactly what you want to play are why this book exists. This is a revised version of the original Cypher System rulebook, pulled contents together from the Cypher System games that existed at the time, which include, apparently, Numenera, which is a super cool setting that I've always wanted to play, and The Strange.
Ooh, The Strange was actually your nickname in high school.
Yeah, because I was always at bus stops looking for Strange. It was basically a compilation of all that game material, plus a lot of suggestions for how to use it in any way you wish. Players and GMs told us that it served those needs well. I don't think I need to read this whole thing. But yeah, so this is a system that is meant to facilitate any kind of gameplay.
I think it would be really funny if you just read the first sentence and the last sentence of that, because it actually gets the entire idea across.
Okay, ultimately, what we all want is play precisely the game we want to play. Now, hopefully, you can do just that. It's pretty good.
Thank you.
Anything goes. Chapter 2. So they're going to talk about the genres here, settings. If you like Cypher System but don't want to create your own setting, check out the games Numenera or The Strange, or the books God of the Fall, Prediction, and Unmasked.
God, I'm not old enough to play a system called The Strange. I can't do it. I can't handle it.
You're not old enough? Oh, you're not mature enough?
Yeah, no, I'm not old enough for that.
All right, guys, we're entering the strange.
Yeah, we are. It stinks in here.
Just wait till you don't shake hands with Doctor Strange.
Oh, I hope he wears gloves.
Yeah. Not on Sundays. But yeah. Anyways, sorry. I don't know. Whatever. You guys knew what you were getting into when you clicked on our stream, probably.
Or you didn't. Welcome.
Or you didn't. But we're rated M for mature. So
I guess we can kind of like breeze down to the how to play the Cypher system, because in between there it just talks about genres and settings.
Yeah, it does say how to play. It does. I've seen a table like this. I'm on page 8. I've seen tables like this many, many times in many, many systems. Age has one. Dune has one. It is simply how difficult stuff is and what it means. So task difficulty is 0 through 10.
This is a D20 system, right?
I do not know. I don't think so, actually. I think this is D10 or D6.
It's D20. Okay, here, I found it. It's the paragraph above this, up on the next page up. The Cypher system uses a 20-sided die to determine the results of most actions. Whenever a roll of any kind is called for and no die is specified, roll the D20.
Interesting. Okay.
Each difficulty, the target number is always 3 times the task difficulty.
Oh, okay. And then they have a table that indicates exactly that. Cool. I wouldn't have noticed that those are 3 times because I'm an idiot.
That's okay. That's what happens when we breeze through rules.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, you're right. But yeah, so 1 through 10 are the difficulties that go from routine to impossible. Right below impossible is immortal. I don't know how that's a difficulty. But the target numbers are 0 through 30. And if you know anything about D20s, they don't have 30 sides. So that would be pretty hard without some bonuses.
I actually do have a custom D20 that starts at 10 and goes to 30.
I actually have a D30 right here.
That's right, you do.
6!
Whoa, man, your character's ready to go for Cypher system.
Oh, man. But yeah, so anytime your character attempts a task, GM assigns difficulty, and you roll the D20. This is pretty standard. Nothing mind-blowing here yet. Combat. Making an attack in combat works the same way. The GM assigns a difficulty, roll D20. That's not that complicated.
Nope.
It depends on the opponent. Just as tasks have difficulty 1 to 10, creatures have a difficulty level from 1 to 10. Most of the time,
if you attack a level 2 bandit, the target number is 6, because as we learned earlier, it's multiplied times 3.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's pretty straightforward.
That is actually pretty easy, because like in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, CR means nothing anymore. It means nothing.
In this game, the next little paragraph there is nice. It's worth noting the players make all the rolls in this game. If a character attacks a creature, the player rolls, and if a creature attacks a character, the player makes a defense roll.
Oh, okay. I love that because I hate rolling as a DM, funny enough.
Well, yeah, you don't really need to be rolling die after die after die as a game master.
No, it gets annoying. Because I'm busy.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on than rolling.
I don't want to roll.
I bet new game masters are like, how could you say that? We love rolling.
Yeah, I'm sure, come at me on Twitter. I'll have a discussion with you. Follow me on TikTok. Maybe I'll make a video if you guys give a shit. But I don't want to roll if I don't have to. It's tedious when you have to, because sometimes I'm like doing stuff behind the scenes and I'm like, all right, this guy's attacking. Yeah, gotta attack.
I know it's not. I know it's not technically fair. Well, I mean, it is. It is technically fair. At work, I used to just roll the D20 and write all my numbers down on a page. And that night at the session, I would just scratch them off as I needed them. I wasn't nitpicking what numbers I wanted to make it more or less exciting. I was just using the random numbers that were already rolled to save myself time.
Interesting. Yeah, no, definitely interesting.
If you have that much time at work that you could just sit there and write down a random D20 result, you've got to be as bored as I was. But you can't. You can do it. I invite you to do it.
It looks like they have a lot of simplifications in this. They make things a lot less complicated.
Yeah, so damage is not rolled. Damage is a flat number based on
Yeah,
the weapon.
light weapons 2, medium weapon 4, heavy weapon 6. Pretty simple.
Armor is just straight damage mitigation. If you have 1 point of armor and you take 2 damage, you take 1 damage instead.
Perfectly understandable. That's easy. And special rules. When you roll a natural 19, and the roll is a success, you also have a minor effect. In combat, minor effects inflict 3 additional points of damage with your attack. That's equivalent to more than a light weapon does, so that's pretty good. Or if you prefer a special result, you could decide instead that you knock the foe back, distract them, or something similar. So it sounds like crits are very up in the air and flexible.
That's the 19 crit, and then the 20 crit. The 20 crit's the same thing, but it has a major effect, not a minor effect, and it does 4 damage instead of 3. But again, you can choose to instead introduce a dramatic event, like you said, such as knocking people down. Outside of combat, you can like climb up a cliff while outside of combat,
taking an extra action. It says,
Wow,
yeah. Range and speed. Immediate distance from a character is within reach or within a few steps. Fair. Short distance, anything greater than immediate, but less than 50. Long distance is anything greater than 50 feet. So it's between 50 and 100, and then very long is anything above 100 feet. That's pretty easy. Nothing special there. You know, I'm remembering looking at this when I first got it now because of the artwork.
Hey,
Did we go over this book on the channel before?
Probably.
Oh man, that'd be really funny. But yeah, so there's experience points, which I'm not a fan of. As a general rule, I don't like them anymore. I used to love them. I don't like them so much. Experience points are rewards given to players. This is called GM Intrusion. You give people experience when the GM intrudes. It's interesting. For example, in the middle of combat, the GM might inform the player that they drop their weapon. However, to intrude in this manner, the GM must award the player 2 experience. The rewarded player in turn must immediately give one of those XP to another player and justify the gift.
Perhaps we did read this. This seems familiar.
This does seem familiar. It's the artwork that I'm recognizing. So it looks like we might have looked at this, maybe even in private.
I do remember passing an XP to the person next to you and thinking that was a cool system.
Yeah.
And I know that's not from another game, so maybe we did just look at this in private.
Definitely looked at this. We definitely have not looked at Claim the Sky, though.
No, that's true.
And so, yeah, we wanted to look over this as a refresher, because it's been a while, obviously.
Shit, I'm still scrolling through it right now. There's still a lot for me to learn.
Yeah, so there's pool, edge, and effort. Your pool is the most basic measurement of a stat. Comparing the pools of 2 creatures will give you a general sense of which creature is superior. Most characters start with a pool of 9 to 12 in most stats. That is the average range. When your character is injured, sickened, or attacked, you temporarily lose points from one of your stat pools. So you take stat pool damage in this game, which you don't see that often, but it is cool. I'm trying to think of what games do that. The Savage Worlds do that?
No.
Shiver?
Yes. No. Shiver had those 4 custom...
Right, they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did. But I have seen that before somewhere.
I have too. It's definitely familiar.
Maybe it's because you read this before. But
maybe
and then edges. Although your pool is a basic measurement of your stat, your edge is also important. When something requires you to spend points from a stat pool, your edge for that stat reduces the cost. So having an edge in a stat allows you to use those points easier, more efficiently.
Edge in a stat lets you use points easier. Okay, sure.
Then effort. When your character really needs to accomplish a task, you can apply effort. For a beginning character, applying effort requires spending 3 points from the stat pool appropriate to the action. Thus, if your character tries to dodge an attack, a speed roll, and wants to increase their chance for success, you can apply an effort by spending 3 of your speed points. Effort eases the task by 1 step. This is called applying 1 level of effort. So, haha.
You don't have to apply effort if you don't want to. When do you get effort back is my next question.
That's a good question.
Each level of effort afterwards costs only 2 points from the stat pool, so if you want to put in 2 levels, it costs 5 and then 7 and so on. Every character has has an effort score, which indicates the maximum numbers of effort they can put in. Let me see. I don't see when it comes back.
So effort. There's also effort and damage increase. Instead of applying effort to ease your attack, you can apply effort to increase the amount of damage you inflict. For each level of effort you apply this way, you inflict 3 additional points. This is for any kind of attack. When using effort to increase damage of an area attack, such as an explosion created by an adept's concussion ability, you inflict 2 additional points of damage instead of 3. However, the additional points are dealt to everyone. Cool, that's fair.
Recovering points in a pool. Nope, that's not effort.
Ooh, that's a cool picture. The spaceman talking to a circulatory system.
Oh, that is.
What are you?
Sure, I remember seeing that the first time, too.
It's like Dr. Manhattan.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on there. Recovering effort. I'm going to search the document and see if I can... Nope.
So here's character creation. They have an extensive skills list. Type. Here are the subtypes. Warrior. Let's see. Oh, and they have tiers. Interesting. So I guess those are kind of like levels. Looks like there's only 4 tiers. Or maybe those are just the tiers of abilities. Interesting. But yeah, there's warrior. Let's see. As an archetype, it's pretty basic. Adept, which I guess is where your like psychics and mages will come in.
I'm so upset that I can't find out how you recover effort. You have no idea. I'm going through everything in this character sheet.
Yeah, I'm sure it's staring you in the face.
I know it's in there somewhere.
Speakers. They have a straight up archetype for talking. That's good. I actually recently saw another game that was talking about doing. Oh yeah, one of the Green Ronin games. Was talking about that. I think.
Wasn't? Didn't Upriver, Downriver have a class like that also?
Potentially. And they talk about flavors. Interesting. All right, so I think we're doing a bad job of going over this.
You've already gone over it, right? This is just a refresher.
This is a refresher.
Let's look at character building and superheroes and how they fit into this system.
So, you mean Claim the Sky?
Yeah, well, there's a character building part of Cypher System, which I assume is, well, you're right. It may not be completely generic. It may have a twist for the superhero game. Let's go over there and look at it. Let's go over here and look at Claim the Sky. This one doesn't have an intro. Oh, wait, yes, it does, by Monty Cook. Let's read the first and last sentence and see if they track this time. Some of my earliest memories are about superheroes. I hope that reading it conveys the same joy.
Oh, so using Claim the Sky. Claim the Sky is a companion to the Cypher System rulebook. This means you won't find introductions to the Cypher System, how to create characters, full rules of the game, or other related concepts here. Fair enough. Yeah, so Claim the Sky just came out. This is a brand new book, FYI.
Ooh.
It's been out for like a month at tops, at most. So, building a superhero. Because you're reading this, you're probably a fan of superheroes. And already have an idea for what kind of superhero you want to play. Perhaps one based on your favorite superhuman character from comics, television, or films, or maybe you're new to supers as a genre and want to get an idea of what sort of powers and characters are common. This chapter discusses many superhero archetypes, common hero concepts, and gives you suggestions on how to create the characters like that in the Cypher System. If you're eager to get started and want to recreate a popular superhero in the Cypher System, see the box on the following page. The archetypes in this chapter include suggestions for your character sentence, what type, focus, and descriptor to use for your character. Types appear in Cypher System Rulebook. Most of the descriptors and foci in this section appear in the Cypher System Rulebook. The new ones are found on Chapter 3 of Superpower Rules. I think that's good. So building a superhero.
Basically, it says that you have these different archetypes and you can switch out abilities and flavors. Like, if you're a tiny hero, you might want to switch out some of your powers for things like influence swarm or control swarms that you can be a tiny hero who, you guessed it, controls bugs.
So yeah, they have a whole section about. I'm surprised they can use these names, honestly.
Yeah, so they give a bunch of examples of how these heroes would work and these archetypes. But I guess there's nothing wrong with using the names as long as you're not making money off the names, right? That's their problem, not mine.
Yeah, so like Ant-Man, summary, ant-sized hero. Sentence, jovial explorer who shrinks to minute size. Archetype, tiny hero. Let's see, let's skip around to our favorites.
Professor X, summary, world's most powerful telepath. Sentence, intelligent adept who commands mental powers. Archetype, mentalist. So it looks like we're going to have a character sentence in this game. We're going to be a blank blank who blanks blank.
Yes.
I sort of remember that.
Yeah. Let's see.
So we can scroll down, right? We have to start with an archetype. Power origin. So if we go down to page 9, there seems to be a D100 roll table for finding your power origin.
Yeah, there's a brief little thing. It's called power source. As you're figuring out what type, descriptor, focus, and power shifts you want for your character, think about how you got your powers. Are you a mutant? Are you born with special abilities? Do you have a high-tech costume with built-in nanotechnology? Sorcerer or maybe a psychic? The source of your powers and character is character flavor. There's no game mechanic difference between the mental powers of an alien member, telepathic species, and a human character who built a brain-augmenting helmet. I mean, fair enough. So, yeah, D100.
Power. That's fine.
D100. I don't have one. Oh, yeah, I do.
I was going to say, you don't have 2D10? Shame.
43.
43.
Given an item by a powerful entity.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's kind of horrifying.
Roll it for me, too. I don't have a D100.
You don't have 2D10?
No, I don't. I was waiting for you to give me shit about it.
97.
97. I had an unexplained drug reaction.
He took some Tylenol and you can teleport now.
So down with that. Like, hey man, I smoked a really good strand and now I can shoot lightning.
That happened in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The Terrigen mists infected the fish. And so a company accidentally got some of those infected fish in with it, and they make fish oil. And so some of the people taking fish oil were just exploding and like turning into superhumans.
Very good.
So it could be something like that. That's pretty cool. I was given an item though. I like that. It's like the darkness.
There is a character concepts section next, now that we know how we got our powers.
Okay.
It says, use the advice in the character concepts to choose your type, focus, and descriptor that best suits your character. This section refers to many types of descriptors and foci in the Cypher System rulebook. The small numbers you see throughout the pages are for easy reference.
Ooh, here's a list of superhero. I wonder if this is an exhaustive list.
That's what I was trying to gauge from the thing I just read. Use the advice in the character concepts to choose a type, focus, and descriptor.
Oh, maybe these are just helpful.
These could just be examples to guide you.
I want to read them.
Yeah, I would like you to read them.
Okay. Atlantean. Bearer of the item. which might be me. Beastly Hero, Beastmaster, Bug Hero, Builder, Cyborg, Dark Energy Master, Elastic, Energy Master, Extra Limbs, Force Field Master, Friendly Thing. What? Genius, Giant Hero, Half Vampire, Hard Light Master. It sounds like Green Lantern. Hard Light. All right.
Yeah, probably.
That's a silly way to say that. Hunter, Illusionist, Master Athlete, Master Martial Artist, Mentalist, Multiplier, Nature Master, Paragon, Phase Master, Plant Power Replicator, Powered Armor Hero, Rage Monster.
I wonder who that is.
I wonder. You wouldn't like me when I'm upset.
You wouldn't like me when I'm a rage monster.
Hulk Miffed.
The incredible rage monster just doesn't roll off the tongue.
It does. Robot, Sensory Adept, Shape Changer, Sorcerer, Speedster, Super Spy, okay, Telekinetic Teleporter, Tiny Hero, Unkillable Beast, and Weapon Master.
I didn't hear the thing that I'm always looking for.
Possession.
That's exactly correct. Which is probably going to be under Mentalist.
Mentalist, yes. That's
Yes.
exactly what that is. My favorite one was Hard Light Master. What? What are you doing?
There was one that caught me that I was like, that seems like fun.
Extra Limbs?
I'm always a big fan. Multiplier actually is what it was. I think multiplying is a cool power.
It is a cool power. So yeah, and then they give the long. These are pretty long. I'm not going to read these.
These are whole paragraph tasty descriptions to give you flavor and background to help build your guy.
Yeah.
So let's go down to Multiplier, maybe? There we go, there's Multiplier. Multiplier. Creating a hero with this odd but versatile character concept is best done with the exist in two place at once focus. Weirder ways to create multiplier characters include using foci like build robots and consort with dead, or is idolized by minions, keeps a magic ally, or even wields two weapons at once, though all of them require creative explanations for how your abilities create copies of you, like robot duplicates, zombie duplicates, cosplaying fans, and so on. Maybe you've used your multiples to study various combat styles or create a unique style of your own, in which case you should use warrior as one of your descriptors. If you use multiples to go many places and learn a lot of skills, select explorer. If your experience in having multiple bodies means you have incredible insight about how to interact and influence others, pick speaker. If you can duplicate yourself because you're twisting or breaking reality, you'll find related abilities as an adept. As a hero who frequently sees yourself in dangerous situations and has perhaps experienced duplicates' deaths now and then, you need a certain mental fortitude to remember that you're the prime version of yourself and the others are just copies. Descriptors that align with the strength of personality are calm, resilient, and strong-willed. However, being able to sacrifice yourself without serious repercussions might instead make you brash, chaotic, or impulsive. Too many shared traumatic experiences in your past might mean craven, doomed, or mad is a better descriptor for you. Most of the typical multiplier abilities aren't improved with power shifts, so use your shifts to make yourself better in general at things like accuracy, dexterity, and resilience. Putting a power shift in healing is a good idea, especially if you can or plan to transfer damage between yourself and the duplicates. If your focus doesn't give you the duplicate ability, you should probably swap one of your abilities for that. It's the most common way to create an identical copy of your superhero. Swapping out an ability for resilient duplicate means all of your duplicates are tougher. It goes on. Oh no, that's it. That's actually it. Then it's Nature Master. So there is a huge 4 or 5 paragraph explanation like that for each of these archetypes to help you build and get the most out of your character.
Yeah, no, the funny, well, you said something that made me think.
The madness.
Oh yeah, so it's funny. It reminds me. So in My Hero Academia, there's a duplicator, and at some point, the Prime one pissed all the duplicates off, and there was a free for all, and none of them know who the real one is anymore, and it's really funny, and he's crazy.
I like the bad guy in My Hero Academia that teleports other people, just like the big shadow cloak guy.
Oh yeah, Yeah,
That
that
guy's
guy's cool. I like Compression Man. That's stupid. He turns people into little balls.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
That's really dumb, but it's funny.
Painful. I like the guy who just turns people into meatballs.
Oh wow,
Okay.
that's a wear shark.
There's a random superpowers table here if you
Yes.
just want to be that guy. And since we're here, why not, right? So what's your random superpower?
77
That
shield.
is, yeah, your shield, and it's bearer of the item. So actually, you kind of got some synergy there.
Yep. It sounds like some demon gave me a shield or something. Or
Why don't you
angel.
sling that D100 for me real quick?
42.
Flight. Power shift in flight. So I smoked some weed that got me so high that I can actually fly now.
You
in
never
real life.
came down. Yeah.
Hey man, this is really good bud. I'm still high today. It's just you have to keep other people from smoking that, or else they all gain superpowers.
Yeah.
So I think that I just accidentally closed. Yeah, I did. Let me reopen claim this guy. It's my bad.
No, you're good. So I'm actually jumping back to Cypher System.
Okay, you can jump back over there and take a look.
Yeah, because they're saying stuff about how you build your characters, and a lot of it's like with sentences and descriptors, and I want to find out what that stuff exactly means. First things first, the character stats are might, speed, intellect, and that's it. There's only 3. Okay, interesting. So create your character in 5 easy steps. Grab a pen, blah blah blah. Record all your choices. Choose from one of the 4 types in Chapter 5. Follow the instructions, blah blah blah. Choose a descriptor. So Chapter 7 talks about descriptors. Chapter 8 talks about focuses. And then you have to choose your character arc. Interesting. So I already looked at the edges and pools and whatnot. It's interesting that there's only those 3 stats, though.
Yeah, they just kind of trimmed that straight down, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they seem to make up for it in detailed character descriptions and powers and such.
Yeah, I want to look at something. First off, I'm going to check if this game has, what do you call it? Functionality. Roll20 functionality.
Ah, that's a good thing to know since we'll be likely playing a game on the stream.
And then I want to see the character sheet. So let's see. Settings. Game settings. Yeah, I can change the character sheet stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Character sheet template. Huh, it's on City of Mist. Interesting.
On City of Mist?
Yeah. Cypher System does appear to have... Wait, what just came up that made me realize something? No, okay.
The character sheet is sideways. In the book, anyways.
Alright, so yeah, I did that. Yeah. So shape changes. And then, yeah, sorry. My games. Let me go to this thing. Yeah, so it does. I mean, I'm not surprised that it has functionality. It's a pretty big company. They probably hired somebody to make sure that there's something.
Does it look good, or does it just look fine, or what's up? I didn't check it out.
Oh no, there's music. I don't know yet. I don't know yet, Gary. Oh, here we go. Add character. Cheskov Agusun is the name it gave me.
Interesting. Good name.
Oh, first things first, you pick sheet style. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it looks cool. It does look like, yeah, so there are just 3 big stats in there. And each one has the pool, which I guess is the big number, and then your edge, which mitigates how much you have to spend. when you're doing stuff. So yeah, it doesn't look bad. Yeah. So this was something I was curious about. Character tiers in this game are every character starts the game at the first tier. Tier is a measurement of power, toughness, and ability. Characters can advance up to the 6th tier. As your character advances to higher and higher tiers, you gain more abilities, increase your effort, and can improve a stat's edge or increase a stat. Generally, not vamp, that's fine. Just lurk about. We like having you lurk.
Yeah.
Increase your effort, blah, blah, blah. Generally speaking, even first-tier characters are already quite capable. It's safe to assume that they've already got some experience. This is not a zero-to-hero progression, but rather an instance of competent people refining and honing. Yeah. Characters, so you have to progress to the next tier, characters earn experience by pursuing character arcs, going on adventures, and discovering new things. So yeah. So you get to increase your capabilities when you go up. You gain 4 points to add to your stat pools. Seems like a lot, but I guess you're not supposed to level up a lot. Doesn't sound like you are. Moving towards perfection, you add 1 to your might edge, your speed edge, or intellect edge of your choice. Extra effort, your effort score increases by 1. And skills, you become trained in 1 skill of your choice other than attacks or defense, as described in Chapter 11. Okay. Okay.
So I figured something out.
Yeah.
Your sentence for your character.
I think it's on page 18, huh?
You are either an explorer, a warrior, an adept, or a speaker. Those are your 4 things that you are one of those. And speaker, I don't think, was out at the time. Wait, this is all brand new. It doesn't show any of the characters, the superhero characters that are listed as an example. It doesn't show any as speakers.
What do you mean?
The ones in the... Why do I keep forgetting the name of this book?
Claim the Sky?
Claim the Sky. The ones in Claim the Sky don't have... They're all like Explorer, Warrior, Adept, Explorer, Warrior. None of them are the communicating guy.
Weird.
It is weird. None are the speaker. Huh. There is no super speaker. What about the preacher? He's a super speaker.
Yeah, I guess so. It's fair. Yeah, so it does talk about... so to create a character, you build a simple statement that describes them. The statement takes this form. I am a... fill in an adjective here. Fill in a noun here. Who... fill in a verb here. Thus, I am an adjective, noun, who, verbs. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember saying that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a rugged warrior who controls beasts. I am a charming explorer who focuses mind over matter. In this sentence, the adjective is called your descriptor. The noun is your character type. The verb is your focus. Even though a character type is in the middle of the sentence, that's where we'll start this discussion. Just as in a sentence, the noun provides the foundation. Ooh, I'm learning about grammar. And, your character type is the core of your character. In some role-playing games, it might be called your character class. Your type helps determine characters' place in the world and relationship with other people in the setting. It's the noun of the sentence. I am an adjective, noun, who, verbs. You can choose from 4 character types. Yeah, warrior, adept, explorer, and speaker. Your descriptor defines your character. It colors everything you do. Your descriptor places your character in the situation, the first adventure, which starts the campaign, and helps provide motivation. Unless your GM says otherwise, you can choose from any of the character descriptions in Chapter 7. I want to go look at this. Chapter 7. Oh, clicked on Chapter 6. Just flavor. Man, this artwork's so cool. The artwork is fantastic. The book's worth it just for the artwork alone, folks. Talk about inspiration. Oh, I think I accidentally stumbled upon it.
Man, you just straight up choose what you want to do when you choose your focus, don't you?
Something like that.
This one says it can be anything from commands mental powers or howls at the moon or pilots starcraft, but you have to make sure with your game master when you do any of those because they imply something existing in the world.
Yes. Here we go, yeah. So your descriptor defines your character. It flavors everything you do. The difference between a charming explorer and a vicious explorer are considerable. The descriptor changes the way characters go about every action. Your descriptor places your character in a situation and helps provide motivation. It is the adjective of the sentence. I'm an adjective, noun, and verbs. And so the list. Here's the whole list. Appealing, beneficent, brash, calm, chaotic, charming, clever, clumsy, craven, creative, cruel, dishonorable, doomed, empathic, exiled, fast, foolish, graceful, guarded, hardy, hideous, honorable, honorable, impulsive, inquisitive, intelligent, intuitive, jovial, kind, learned, lucky, mad, mechanical, mysterious, mystical, naive, perceptive, resilient, risk-taking, rugged, sharp-eyed, skeptical, stealthy, strong, strong-willed, swift, tongue-tied, tough, vicious, virtuous, weird.
And each one of those things, if you scroll down through these next pages, comes with characteristics.
Yeah.
So this is a big part of your stat block almost.
Yeah, I'll go with the first one just to show. So this does have mechanical effects, which is interesting. Appealing. You're attractive to others, but perhaps more important, you are likable and charismatic. You've got that special something that draws others to you. You often know the right thing to say to make someone laugh, put them at ease, or spur them to action. People like you, want to help you, and want to be your friends. You gain the following characteristics. Charismatic. +2 to your intellect pool, which seems pretty good. Skill. You're trained in pleasant social interactions. Resistant to charms. You're aware of how others can manipulate and charm people, and you notice when those tactics are used on you. Because of this awareness, you are trained in resisting any kind of persuasion or seduction if you wish it. Initial link to the starting adventure. From the following list of options, choose how you became involved in the first adventure. Oh, and then it's got story hooks.
Cool.
You met a total stranger, one of the other PCs, and charmed them so much they invited you along. The PCs were looking for someone else, but you convinced them that you were perfect instead. Pure happenstance. Because you just go along with the flow of things and everything usually works out. For the charismatic ways helped get one of the PCs out of a difficult spot a long time ago, and they always ask you to join them on new adventures. So that's cool. Yeah, it gives you a whole... It puts you right in it. And as we've discussed on this channel before, that kind of game design is good.
Yeah, narrative game design is really cool.
Narrative game design is where it's at.
Did you see the focuses, the foci section? That's down like page 60, 61. It also has some kind of built-in character stuff here. So your foci, like I was saying earlier, it's like that's where you can say that you pilot Starcraft or whatnot. Oh, you're gonna cut over to the other one, huh?
1 second, Gary.
Uh-huh.
I need to address this picture.
The ones with the people riding the raptors with bows and machine guns fighting a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, I just need to pause for a second and appreciate this picture.
You see that the T-Rex has armor on his back.
I do, and there's a guy.
By a bad guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. All right. Anyway, sorry. What were you saying?
No problem. The focus is, it's just more of a suggestion. Right, this is kind of what you say that your character does.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you want to read it? Or
yeah, we could do this. Focus is what makes your character unique. No two PCs in the group should have the same focus. A focus gives a character benefits when they create their character, and each time they ascend to the next tier, it's the verb of the sentence. I am the adjective noun who verbs, so it's the thing that you do. The chapter contains nearly 100 sample foci, such as bears a halo of fire or would rather be reading and pilots StarCraft. These foci can be chosen and used, presented by a player or the game master, who adds them to a list of available foci for the players in their next campaign. In addition, the latter half of this chapter provides tools for the game master or an enterprising player to create their own custom foci that perfectly match the needs of the given game or campaign. So, lots of examples, lots of samples here, and it just kind of tells people what your character will do. Now, the cool thing is on the next page, page 61, there are focus connections. And so here are 50 different things that you can do. You choose a connection that goes well with your focus. So you can choose up to 4 of the connections. And this is the built-in lore, right? So number 1, pick one other player character. For reasons unknown to you, that character is completely immune to your focus abilities, whether you use them to help or for harm. Number 10, I'll pick another random one. Pick one other player character. That player comes from the same place you do, and you knew each other as children. Number 15. Pick one other player character. You fear that character is jealous of your abilities and worried that it will lead to problems. So these are just cool built-in things that you pick to help give you a little bit more flavor, and the game master more flavor in your background.
Absolutely. No, these are cool. Wow,
So
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, just scroll down a little bit and browse them. But again, a lot of these things they were saying in the superhero version, you switch these powers out and you make sure you have what you're supposed to have to make your hero feel right.
Yeah.
So now I think I'm ready to click back over to Claim the Sky and see if I'm ready to put some of this stuff together.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, now that we understand how the sentences work.
Mm-hmm. Now I know where it all comes from.
Yeah, and they added new descriptors, so that's cool. That's what kind of set off that whole look in. Need to understand the descriptors. So, like, for this one, they put one in called Amazing. I am an amazing blank that blanks. You have a knack for surprising people, performing impossible athletic feats, sneaking up on them, someone who's alert, or instantly reacting to an ambush. You like to make use of these talents to enhance or rehabilitate your reputation as a hero, prone to spectacular rescues, defeating foes above your league, or arriving just in time to save the day. Ironically, in your normal daily life, you're a little awkward and overlooked. You get +2 to your speed and 2 additional points to divide among your other stat pools, which seems high compared to the other ones. But yeah, skill, you're trained in initiative and stealth tasks. Self-hype. When you apply a level of effort to a task, you get a free level of effort. You can do this one time, although the ability is renewed each time you make an hour or 10-hour recovery roll. Inability. Your sudden appearances are startling to regular people. Positive social reactions are hindered. Villains and other superheroes aren't affected by this. Initial link to the starting adventure. You got in a bit over your head, but other PCs coincidentally arrived and gave you the distraction you needed. You were tailing someone the other PCs were following and decided to drop in. You saw the other PCs were in a fight and choose to help them out. You had a hunch that something big was about to go down. So that's just one of the new scripters from the Claim the Sky superhero supplement.
There are also new foci examples that they give, such as copies superpowers, has 1,000 faces, ignores physical distance, sculpts hard light, shrinks to minute size, soars on amazing wings, stretches, takes animal shape, touches the sky, wields an enchanted weapon, and wields invisible force. But if I'm not mistaken, Jahan, we read just in the other book that you can make your own foci if you want. So it's just a matter of working with your game master to make sure this works out.
Yeah. For sure.
There's already a thing that's cool to me. It's the foci of has 1,000 faces. I think that would go really cool with a multiple man. So you duplicate and shapeshift. So you turn into a bunch of different people. And scatter.
Yeah. That is pretty cool. I don't know. So far, this is an interesting system. It's very different. It really is. It takes that whole narrative play stuff very seriously. Like it goes really hard with it, which is interesting.
But then you also do have abilities and things that go with it. Are they? Do they act like spells, or are they narrative?
Are you talking about the new abilities section?
Yeah, just the abilities in general. I guess since you take damage to your main stats, this is going to be more of a narrative type of game.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Well, let's take a look at some of the new powers. New abilities, rather. So, advantages of being small. You've learned how to leverage your strength and accuracy in proportion to your size. Your damage is no longer halved when using shrink, and climbing and jumping tasks are eased. So it looks like those abilities affect other powers.
Yes.
Animal shape. You can change to an animal as small as a rat or up to your own size for 10 minutes. So these are kind of powers, yeah.
Yeah, these are how you do your things.
Yeah.
Bolster illusion. You give one of your visual illusions a limited physical reality that viewers can smell, taste, hear, and feel. So yeah, this is where a lot of the cool stuff is here. This is the real meat of the book that people are looking for superpowers. This might be cool to actually to put our eyes on and see what's through here.
Yeah.
And of course, they don't have it all broken down in one easy-to-read table for us.
Hey, here's the copy power. Yeah, you can copy someone else's superpower for an hour.
Bolster illusion, command beast, boost manifest cipher. The manifest cipher allows you to activate your next two functions if it were 2 levels higher. That sounds really strong. I'm not quite sure what that means yet.
A lot of these sound really cool. Dimensional squeeze. You cram yourself into a transitional dimension, allowing you to instantaneously appear anywhere you choose within short range if you have a clear or unobstructed path to that location. You can pass through an intervening barrier if it has an open space that you could easily fit your head through, about 1 square foot. In addition to the normal options of using effort, you can use your effort to pass through smaller openings. Each level of effort used this way reduces the minimum opening size by 1/4. You land safely when you use this ability, and it takes an action.
Can I teleport others?
Not with that power.
No, I just mean with any power. Oh yeah, look, I can. Short teleportation. You instantly teleport to any location within a short distance that you see. In addition to any normal options for using effort, you can choose to use effort to increase your range, teleport to a location you can't see, or bring other people with you. Haha. Each additional sort, distance, blah blah blah. I can teleport people, and that's what matters.
You can shrink yourself or others. Those are 2 separate powers. You have a small flight. when using shrink, you can fly. That's kind of funny. Steal powers. It's cool. It's just like copying, except the other person loses their power for a bit.
What about war flesh?
You can instantly transform your hands and feet into claws, and your human teeth into fangs, or revert to your normal human appearance. When you make attacks with your claws or fangs, they count as medium weapons instead of light weapons. Enabler. So yeah, here's Superpower Rules right after that.
Power shifts. So I guess these rules are just specifically for this system?
Yeah.
Okay. Power shifts are an optional rule for the Cypher System rulebook that represent many of the exceptional things that superheroes can do, like throw cars, blast through brick walls, leap onto speeding trains, and cobble together an interdimensional gateway devices within just a few hours. A typical superhero player character gets 5 power shifts that are like permanent free levels of effort that are always active. They don't count towards a player's maximum effort use, nor do they count as skills or assets. They simply ease tasks that fall into specific categories, which include, but are not necessarily limited to, oh boy, this is a long list. Accuracy, dexterity, flight, healing, increased range, intelligence, power, prodigy, resilience, savant, single attack, or strength. So these are just kind of passive buffs that make you feel like a superhero, huh?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I think they're like accoutrement. You know.
Just extra juice for you. So you get 5. You get 5 power shifts. What does that mean?
I mean, you get to pick 5 of these.
Yes, that's true. Can you stack them? Can you pick the same one multiple times?
So I would imagine that you can with some of them, like Savant or Resistance or something. I don't know. Maybe.
Some superhero, the next page, maybe we'll figure it out here. Some superhero character concepts are about breaking the normal power level
3.
for a hero in most cases. What?
3 is the limit.
Okay. Good. I'm glad you found that. You can't be a teleporter as a tier 1 character. And the concept isn't nearly as fun if you have to wait till tier 4. Okay. So this is where you can, with the GM's approval, use a power shift for the Prodigy option. Prodigy lets you give up one of your low tier abilities for a higher tier ability that matches your character's concept. For example, if your swashbuckling teleporter is a graceful explorer who fights with panache, you could give up one of your tier 1 explorer abilities, so you'd only have 3 instead of 4, or give up one focus ability, such as fights with panache, and instead select the tier 4 ability, short teleportation. So that's a thing that you can do that I was actually wondering about. I was like, well, that's all good if you can shoot better and punch better, but what if I want to teleport better? And that's a thing you can do with the Game Master's approval, of course, is turn in a skill by the one that you said, actually, the one that you guessed. That background or whatever that was called.
Yeah. What are the power stunts?
You can do that. Power stunts. A power stunt is pushing a superpower beyond its normal limits and using it to do something it can't normally do. So a lightning blaster shooting their electricity even further than normal, or a fire hero absorbing fire from a burning building. A telepath communicating with or understanding a machine, or a hero traveling to another dimension. So the Cypher System explains modifying abilities on the fly, such as describing a method of altering the range, area, or other aspects of an intellect ability by spending intellect points. In the superhero game, these modifications aren't limited to intellect-based abilities. So it's reasonable that a strong hero could affect a larger area with Golem Stomp, or an agile hero could disarm more than one opponent using advantage to disadvantage. So, if you want to do something like this, the additional costs use the same pool as the ability's normal cost. If an ability doesn't have a cost, the Game Master should choose an appropriate ability for the points to come from. So, you can modify these things on the fly, they just get more difficult, and it's up to the Game Master, of course, if your power makes sense within the lore. So I think this is another way to just confirm what you said, that this seems to be a pretty narrative system.
It does, yeah, it's pretty narrative. It's pretty flexible, and it does seem like it would be pretty decent at showing superheroes. You know, it's hard to do in a game system. As someone who grew up trying to do such a thing, and the closest I ever got was Aberrant, which you need to know how to do calculus for. You know, this is pretty dope.
I am a bit overwhelmed by this system, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't really flow off the tip of the tongue, and it's not necessarily organized very well in this book.
I also feel a bit of a disorganization. Like, there's no concise like area to look at where it's like, this is it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm scrolling all over the place and reading all sorts of things, and it takes me like 2, 3, 4 paragraphs sometimes to find what I'm looking for, just because there's so much filler in between what I need to build a character and how you're explaining to me the, how it fits. Like, really, it should just tell us right at the top of the page here, how many prodigy powers we're getting. How many power shifts, how many prodigal power shifts. But it's buried. It's not there at the top. It's three paragraphs down where it says a player gets 5 power shifts.
I feel like it's a bit disorganized as well. I was thinking the same thing the whole time. I was just trying to figure out maybe we were in the wrong, but I don't think we are.
No, it goes back. There's a lot of back and forth with this system, and things aren't necessarily perfectly laid out.
Yeah. It's just kind of... I mean, it happens. It's not... I do feel like it's more common to be this disjointed and disorganized in superhero systems. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the wide breadth of content that they have to cover. You know what I mean? Like, because you want to make rules for throwing a boulder versus reading someone's mind. I don't know. There's just so much going on, and it feels very spread out in this book. You're not wrong. I do not disagree with you.
Yeah, I do agree with you that when you're doing a superhero book and when you're doing a supplement book, of course, we're already going to be looking at 2 different books, which is overwhelming in its own right. And then a superhero book has to be pretty all-encompassing, so they're hard to organize. I know it's early to put my vote in, but I don't think that I am drawn to this system.
I actually think I like it. It is very narrative, and I think that narrative systems are best for superheroes because superheroes are ridiculous.
Absolutely.
It'd be hard to regulate something like that. In another, you know what I mean. I see what you're saying. We have seen this for a simple system. The system's kind of weird and wonky and complicated. It looks like they tried to combine a lot of stuff with pools and D20 rolls and these it kind of like the edges and stuff like that kind of remind me of like Savage World raises. I don't know. I think it would be fun to play. I do think it'd be fun to play. I'm not saying it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it might. Well, and absolutely. Once you see the die start hitting the table, that's when you really get to see what a game does and how it works. I would definitely what we're doing with this. What we're doing here with this kind of Pulse series is comparing superhero games. Right. This is just the first one we've read, so it's kind of hard to say where I stand. But we plan on looking at a bunch of other games and making our decision. I just think that my vote is probably not going to be for Cypher System in the end. It's probably not going to be for Claim the Sky. I don't have a direct draw to this book, and I feel like explaining it to other cast members and bringing people on board and helping them build characters would be kind of a confusing mess almost.
Yeah, it's not the easy because it's very high concept.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
It's very high concept. And I guess so. A lot of that, I guess, comes from the fact that they're trying. This system is meant for anything.
Yes, that's right. You can do anything with Cypher System,
and that can get daunting.
So I actually haven't looked at systems like GURPS that are, universal systems. I've looked at the Age system, and it's one of those universal systems. But the funny thing is that The Expanse, which is an Age game, kind of isn't so universal because it's in its own world. You'd have to take things from it and plug it. But that's my favorite one, and it's the least universal of all. And then, what did I say? I haven't seen GURPS. And Savage Worlds is the other one I've seen. Savage Worlds, I think, is my favorite universal system right now. As far as, universal systems go.
Savage Worlds? Yeah, Savage Worlds, so...
Yeah. And maybe Powered by the Apocalypse, right? But I've only played City of Mist, which I really liked. And I don't know if I'm looking forward to Avatar, but I know that Avatar is a thing that exists that we're gonna play.
I am interested to see masks from the same people as Avatar Magpie. That's their superhero system. I already reached out to them. Hopefully they'll send us a copy that we can look at. I mean, I don't hate this.
I mean, I wouldn't say I hate it either. The hate's a strong word.
No,
I would say the word I'm using, I don't even say I dislike it. I'm just not drawn to it.
I think I like it, but I see what you're saying.
There might be another game that really pulls me in more. I don't know what else to say. There are a lot more skills and there are a lot more spells, and you can do all of the things, but in a narrative game, of course you can do all of the things.
Yeah.
And so going through and reading you all of the things is almost a waste of time, because you can do all of the things in this game. You have all the powers, and if you don't, then you can talk to your game master about it, switch out powers, and reflavor it in a different way. They told us
it's very flexible. I like that, so that's a point in its favor. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe we should get serious about this.
Well, once you get to literally the next chapter, which we're just a few pages from, is all about lore. It's called A World with Powers, and it's just all the different campaign building blocks and lore that you could use.
Oh, is that
So we are basically all we have
to...
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So basically all we have to do now is just read every single ability and what everyone does, like small flight, shrink others, teleportation, hard light, stuff like that we've already seen, but there are more finer details in that to read.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if we need to read every single skill in the book.
No, definitely not. I mean, what do you want to look at?
I don't know. So I'm browsing down now through the different, these are the different settings. These are different ideas, origin stories, team-ups, secret identities. So these are all things to just help you flavor your guy, but there aren't any tables here. It's just something for your player to read. And this is what I'm back to, where I'm saying I'm not sure if I would use this game for this channel because of the way that you cast this. It's just like, yeah, read through this entire book by yourself, and then let's talk high concept ideas of what you want to do. But really, you don't need to read through this book at all. You can just sit down at a table and start basically playing any superhero game that is.
See, I don't really think it would be that difficult to talk people through this in theory. It's just because the whole selling point in the beginning is make that character that you want to make. In order to do that, you might have to do some deep diving. But I still don't think at its base level it would be terribly difficult to teach.
Now I'm just scrolled down to look at the example heroes and villains and kind of what they look like and what they do to get a feel for the game and what your character would do, how they work. 35 health. Oh, because she's an NPC.
Oh, you see, people?
Yeah, down on page, you get dropped to page 131. There are heroes, villains, and NPCs.
Lord Ash!
There you go. Look at that helmet. So this kind of gives you an idea of what you're fighting and what the numbers look like and what characters look like in action.
See, I do so this is something that I want to see more of. Creatures and NPCs being depicted by different sets of rules to make them easier. Because instead of having all the same pools as a regular character, I don't have to do all that. I just give them a health number. You know what I mean? I just tell you how much damage he inflicts. I give them an armor. And that's it. You know what I mean? I like that a lot. Because a lot of games have, whenever you want to make a creature, or you have to give them, in Warhammer, right? I have to give the creature a goddamn weapon skill, ballistic skill, charisma. You know what I mean? I have to do all this work. And here, it's 4 numbers. You know what I mean? And I don't even roll. You guys have to roll against them. You know what I mean?
That's right. We just have to roll the block.
You roll the block or you roll to attack. And that's it. It's I like that. That's a huge boon to me.
In action, I'm not sure if I like the flat damage. because of the back and forth of like, I hit, I do 10, you hit, you do 5. I hit, I do 10, you
See,
hit, you do 5. Okay, how exciting.
It is flat damage on the surface, but it's not actually flat damage because you can manipulate it.
Yes.
By spending resources to increase the damage, thus exerting more effort. I like that. I do understand what you mean, but that kind of variability can make games hard. Because, like, if you guys are all rolling shit damage and I'm rolling shit high, you guys just get wrecked. And that's no fun for anybody. Except
I'm actually totally okay with the Game Master doing flat damage and players rolling die.
That could be cool.
That's, Dungeons & Dragons always had that optional rule where it showed the monster health that you could either roll that it was, 2d8, or you could just take the flat number, the 7.
I usually would do the flat number.
Yeah, and then you could do the same thing with damage. You could either roll your damage or do the flat number. So monsters having a flat number, I think, has always been a great way to speed up the Game Master encounter. But players rolling dice, I think, gives you that sense of chaos where you might do it and you might not do it. I guess as a superhero, the thing is you do it. You don't miss. You know what I mean?
I think Jack Majestic might be the dad from Lost in Space. Explore the universe, safeguard his family.
You should scroll down to page 135 and get a look at manslaughter.
Manslaughter?
Yeah, it's good.
Those are shotgun arms.
Yeah, they are. And they look like fully automatic shotgun arms, if I had to guess. So he can use his action.
What he can do, yeah.
Yeah, he can transform parts of his body into weapons.
So,
autocannons and shotguns.
Alrighty. You can have a butt flamethrower. That's exciting.
That is exciting.
Midnight. It's kind of funny.
Midnight looks cool.
These are cool. These are cool characters. I like the characters, and I do, like I said, I love the flat numbers that are so easy. I wouldn't have to change very much to make a character a custom dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Although, so the part where that becomes an involved process is picking their powers and like that kind of stuff. But I guess it's not too bad. Because it's like, I want a guy that can kind of do some mid-tier damage who can teleport. That's not too hard.
I just want a teleporter who can teleport other people, and maybe a multiple guy who can multiple and teleport.
That is possible in this system, yeah. Ooh, the one, nigh omnipotent cosmic entity. That is apparently, he's sitting at Thanos' throne, so I feel like that might be. But he's dressed like Null, so that gives me some, I don't know. So this system does have a lot of stuff in its favor, I think. So I think, since we are doing comparison stuff, maybe we should start scoring these?
That's probably a good idea, because it's probably just going to come down to which one do you want to play. And we should probably have a reason to pick which one that we want to play.
So, let's come up with our system then for rating these. What do you want to do, out of 5 or 10?
I always like doing out of 10, because out of 5 is just weird. So I think one of the good things that this game has going for it, and maybe not good, but there should be a sliding scale for crunchiness and narrative. And I think that this game is somehow both. I think that this is a narrative game that has lots and lots of options, power options hidden throughout.
Yeah.
And I think that since we're going to be doing examples, we've looked at mutants and masterminds in the past. That one's just crunchy. That one's not as narrative. And it can be if you choose to make it that way, but it's a lot more crunchy than this system by design.
Yeah. So I think we should have 5 categories, and each one can be worth up to 2 points.
Oh, you've already got categories in mind. Well, shit, hit me with it then. You're 5 categories ahead of me.
So, I mean, system should probably be its own category, right? Like, just as a whole. Like, the system itself.
The system.
Like, how much do we like the system out of 2? You know?
Well, the other half of the system is the setting. And, I mean, do we want to judge settings,
I think
too?
setting...
because those are kind of game
could be its own, but not all games have settings. But I guess all of them do have like that whole, this is what you use it for, and I guess we could kind of agree that. So system,
I think that this one actually has a great number of settings with all the different options. Yeah, they offered a bunch of different genres.
So system setting, complexity.
Yes.
Like how hard it is to learn and teach and blah blah blah.
Is that system? Are we stepping on system's toes there?
No, I think the system itself can stand alone, and complexity is like how hard it is to learn and teach and to deal with. I think the system. Well, maybe we're stepping on the toes. Well, DM ability. Like,
what about options?
Options is a good one. Character options, or just options in general. I guess options in general.
Yeah, I think options and character options are almost the same thing in a tabletop role-playing game.
Yeah.
Because what other choices are you going to make besides character choices and gear choices?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Vampire Bites. This is a Monty Cook game.
Yes.
Yes. Cypher System is one of Monty Cook's house systems, and Claim This Guy is a supplement for that.
From what I've seen, this is from our chat. From what I've seen, Monty Cook games leave big gaping holes for rules lawyers and power gamers to abuse.
Yes. So this is not my first Monty Cook game, and they are an experience.
Jahan and I are also, we have a very open game master player relationship where, you know, that's fine that there are giant gaping rules and holes because the game master has the final say.
Yes.
And that's true for almost every system we play, where it's like, man, no one's going to be rules lawyering because we're doing a live web show and we'll figure it out later and do it right next time.
Yeah. But yeah, rules lawyers can be an issue, but my whole thing is...
Get a rules lawyer.
I will just say no if I need to. You know what I mean? Say, well, according to this rule, I can heal back to full health every time I snap my fingers. It's like, well, no, you can't. That's not intended.
And problem solved.
And that's it. Yeah. But you're not wrong. Especially this system seems like it has a lot of openness to it, which we're calling that narrative systems. We're calling that a narrative system. And they're more and more common now. And yeah, you can abuse the systems, obviously, but it's not too bad. So we got system setting options. What else do we want to grade this thing on?
System setting. I kept complexity also.
Complexity. All right.
I kept complexity. So system setting, complexity, options, and something else.
Organization, layout.
You want to just call it like visual? That way it's art and organization, layout, all of that stuff, just what it looks like.
Yeah, sure.
Our visual score.
All right, so we got our 5 categories. System. How much do you like the system?
So I am actually, I've already written down my system number.
Okay.
I'm going to write down all my numbers, and then we'll see how you score it.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
So my system, how much do I like the system?
Visual score. That's where I'm at now. Let me go back over and look over this book one more time. There was definitely some art that I liked, but I actually think that Cypher System had cooler art than Claim the Sky.
Yeah.
Going back through, I don't know if that's true. There is a lot of good
There's
art.
a lot of really cool art in Claim the Sky. It looks like they got a lot of different artists, too. Because you can tell some of these are drawn by different people. I don't know. I find the visuals in the books very good.
There's definitely some cool stuff in there. All right, I've got my numbers. I've got them. Let's find out.
Do
what my
2?
Let's see what my overall score is.
I see mine. It seems high.
My average score was a 7.2.
How'd you get a 0.2?
Because I added all the numbers together and then divided it by 5.
The numbers added together should be 10.
Are you? Oh, you're just spreading out 10 points, huh?
Yeah. Oh, did you want to do it the other way?
I was rating each one out of 10.
I like that better.
That's what I was doing.
I like that better.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I confused you or got off track.
Nah.
So a 7.2, that's not so bad. That's not so bad for Claim the Sky. That's about how I feel about it, too, so I'm okay with that score.
Let me do my math. This is interesting. I played D20, 3X, Unearth, Arcana Unearth, and MC's World of Darkness. Nice. Monty Cook's World of Darkness. I didn't know you did one. Or it, or whatever.
They, it, them. Yeah, I think everybody's had a hand in the World of Darkness cookie jar at this point.
That's what it seems like. The fuck? So what did you divide it by? My bad.
The number of categories by 5.
Okay. Uh-oh. Mine's lower.
Oh, wow. You must have rated something lower than I did.
I gave something a 10.
I did not give anything a 10.
Interesting. So system, what did you give it?
I gave it a 6 in the system.
I gave it a 5.
Okay. So
it's fine.
We're thinking the same. Yeah, it's fine. We're thinking the same thing about the system. It's fine.
Setting.
I gave the setting an 8.
I also gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I felt like there were lots of genre options, and there were lots of descriptors at the end to help you kind of flesh out the different settings and get some real inspiration. Where did you go for complexity?
4 out of 10.
Okay,
I felt like it was, it's not the easiest thing to put. It's not in one space, man. You know, like, it's all spread out. I don't like when they spread the rules out all over the rule book. I've seen a lot of systems guilty of this. I don't want to have to jump around just to make a character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of a bitch to make a character. But for that same reason, I actually give the complexity a 7. Because once your character is made, this game is just rolling a d20. Yeah. And you have flat numbers. So, character creation aside, which was kind of a bitch, the game's not that complex. It's actually pretty easy once you get going.
Options.
I went with a 7. I don't think it's that hard.
Okay.
Options. I also actually picked a 7.
I gave it 10 out of 10. I feel like there's a lot of options.
There were lots of choices. No shortage. I
feel like
of choices.
You can make pretty much anything.
Also,
yeah,
it's a narrative game, and of course, a narrative game has infinite options.
It should. Yeah, it should. Narrative games should always score high in options. Then visually, I gave it a 5.
Really, a 5 visually? That's it.
I don't like the layout. I don't like the organization. I love the artwork. So
that's pretty fair. I should probably change my score based on that. I shot high with it. I'm going to be honest. I gave it an 8 because there were a lot of really cool character concepts in here, plus the comics that they put in. Some of the comics are really cool. I love all the color, and there's something on at least every third page. Yeah. Which, when I'm looking for art on every page, every 2 pages. So every 3 is pretty good.
So yeah, mine's a 6.4. I wouldn't, like, that's just like, hey, we just looked at it for a little bit, like an hour. So that's not really, like, that's not a deep dive score. It's not based, it's an opinion, all right? It's an opinion. It wasn't my favorite, but it's not terrible. I'd play it. I would play it.
So I think this number is actually pretty fair. My average plus your average divided by is a 6.8, so it's your 6.2, my 7.2. Fresh out the box gives it a 6.8, and I feel like that's actually a pretty fair number.
It's pretty fair.
even though I agree, we did just look at it on the fly. We rated it on the fly. There are some things I think that maybe you could have bumped up a point or two, and some things I probably could have bumped down a point or two.
Yeah.
And that would have got us to
I might have done some pretty harsh ones.
Yeah, that would have got us to the same, I think, around a 7. I think a 6.
I think a 7 is probably accurate.
7.2. Yeah, so
7 out of 10, not bad, Monty Cook Games.
I feel good with that. I feel good calling that a 7 out of 10. Certified 7 out of 10 by Fresh Out the Box.
I know Monty Cook probably doesn't give a shit about our fat-ass opinions, but, hey, you know.
I don't give a shit.
If you want to make
Monty
TTRPGs,
Cook.
you got to get used to getting yelled at from the basement, you know?
Yeah, that's true. He knew what he was asking.
He knew
for.
what he was doing. Monty Cook's
What are
World
we-
of Darkness was D20? What?
What are we going to do next Thursday, Jahan?
Bro, I don't know. We're going to see what we get. I'm hoping that we have masks to look at. If not, we'll find another system for sure by then. So
I think I would like to look at, like, Tiny Supers.
we could do Tiny Supers, which is a Tiny D6 from Galleon Night Games.
City of Mist is one of my favorites, but it's not necessarily a superhero game.
No, and we already did it, but
it isn't not a superheroes game either.
it's not a superheroes game.
Correct.
You always call it a superheroes game, and it annoys me because it's not. But
yeah,
I know
it's
what
not.
you mean.
It isn't, but it's so close that it might
close. You could make literally any superhero in it, so I'm hard pressed to argue that hard. But
yeah, it's a narrative game with supernatural powers. Let's say that. And I suppose you could be a superhero with those supernatural powers, but you don't have to be.
yeah. So I'm trying to remember. So there's a superhero game that actually Kyle mentioned to me that sounded cool. I don't remember what it was called though. It's like the premise is, I think the world was going to end and all the superheroes save it, but they're all dead or something like that. And all that's left is the super villains, but like the super villains for some reason have to become heroes, otherwise the world will end. Like they have to keep the peace. So like their entire motivations change. They have to, otherwise they all die too. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm looking at some lists here of like superhero games.
Mutants and Masterminds is surely on the list.
Masks. Mutants and
right.
Masterminds. Worlds in Peril is a game by Sam Joko Publishing. I'm gonna put that on the list.
Never heard of that one.
Never heard of it. A narrative-based superhero RPG from Kyle Simmons is considered by many to be the follow-up to Masks.
Ah.
World in Peril. Hearts and Souls from Silver Lion Studios.
And then, of course, we have the unreleased Marvel tabletop role-playing game.
Bro! I can't believe we didn't get a playtest of that.
It's, I don't know if it's even ready to playtest yet. Maybe I should send him a message.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yeah, send him a message. Bash
That's Matt. That's
from
Matt
Basic
Forbeck
from Basic
working on
Action
that.
Games. Let's see. There's Save the Day from Ockmarts Games. I just looked up. I typed in superhero TTRPGs, and this is a list. My Superhero Life. I don't know what that is. It looks like it's supposed to be like a TV show style.
I was going to say it sounds like a dating sim.
Aren't all superhero games really just dating sims?
As soon as they take place in a high school, yes.
And then Spectaculars.
I've never heard of Spectaculars either.
Mutants Mastermind was also on this list, but obviously we've already done that one. But we can give it more of a look at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna have to revisit it because I don't remember a lot about it. But we can hit it whenever we hit like a tiny system, Tiny D6 or something. That way, we're not giving it a whole focus since we already did a stream about it.
Yeah, maybe we can do like
because we need to go back
review.
Yeah, we need to grade it now.
Yeah.
And so we're going to need to look at it again, need to refresh ourselves with the options and the complexity, and then put up our ratings at all of this when we're done.
Huh. best superhero-themed tabletop RPGs of 2021. The top one, it looks like, or one of them, let's see. Marvel Superheroes is on there. I guess the older one, the Mutants and Masterminds 3rd Edition, DC RPG Heroes Supers, which is Revised Edition, Supers. So many. Icons, I've heard of that one. Prowlers and Paragons, I also think I've heard of.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that too. Also, there's one that's like, it's like Villains and Vanquish or something that I've heard of.
A Squadron, I don't know what that is. Those are cool. All right, so yeah, no, we're learning. I like learning. Let's look at some more of these lists. Because I'm trying to figure out which one he was talking about, because that one sounded cool. I at least wanted to give it a gander. Maybe I'll just message him.
Yeah, I googled what you said and I didn't find anything on it.
Masks seems to be getting a lot of hype for this.
I don't know anything about Masks.
Me neither. But Magpie, because we looked at the Avatar game, and that was pretty cool. And so if they're doing that we're impressed with that one. So
yeah.
Oh, Champions. I forgot about Champions. That's way more than I realized.
Champions is another big Crunchy book, right?
Maybe.
Well, see, the thing is, we have some of these in our hands already, which is nice. And the ones that we can't get, well, then you just won't get screen time. You just won't get graded.
Yeah, that's true.
Are there any that you're excited for? I mean, I'm excited for Masks now.
I'm excited for Masks. I'm excited to look at... let's see. Icons looks really cool. Tiny Supers on Tiny D6. That looks dope. I've heard of Prowlers and Paragons. That one sounds cool. The Marvel game, I would love to play. I'd also love to check out the DC one. That's pretty much where I'm at. Obviously, I didn't mention Mutants and Masterminds because we've looked at it. I do look forward to giving it another gander now that I kind of understand things better.
Yeah, it almost seems like with every system that we read, we understand the other systems better also.
That's funny. It gives, this list I found, it gives like a crunch rating, which is smart. Champions is very crunchy.
Yep.
Mutants and Masterminds is high crunch. Superpowers companion for Savage Worlds. What? Savage World Supers. We need to check that out. I would love to get back to Savage Worlds.
Oh, we've already I would make the argument against it because we've already played Savage Worlds.
I'm fine going back to a system to see how it works with a new mechanic. You know what I mean?
True. It just
medium
for
crunch.
The sake of, I don't want to sound like a like that guy, but it didn't do a whole lot for our numbers. There weren't a whole lot of people out there that wanted to watch Savage Worlds.
It didn't have like a lot of growth, but at first it had a pretty good initial punch, and the numbers for viewing were pretty decent. Bash, that's medium. Icons is light. Prowlers and Paragons is light.
Did you say Masks was medium?
Masks wasn't on that list.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are the ones, man. I don't know, they sound pretty cool. What do you think, man? You can use Scion, 1st edition or 2nd edition, as a superhero game easily. Scion.
I haven't touched Scion either.
Me neither.
So what am I feeling? I'm gonna have to look at some...
World of Darkness still trips me out.
I'm gonna have to look at some different games. I don't actually know if I'm looking for a high crunch or a low crunch experience here. I generally like narrative games more, but there is a good balance between narrative and options that I like.
I want to play a crunchy superhero game. I do. But I'm fine with a narrative one. Honestly, they work better on the stream, typically.
Yeah, they do work well on the stream.
Because, like, with Dune seems really crunchy, but Dune is a narrative game, and the hardest part is constructing what you're going to roll, and then that's it. But you barely ever roll and I never have to roll pretty much. So it's, I don't know. I do like the narrative games for streaming. And I have played some really crunchy superhero games, and it does more harm than good, I feel.
I think so too. I think it's pretty limiting in a superhero. Well, it's limiting in a narrative game, and superhero games almost have to be narrative by design because superheroes are so strong, and their powers are matched whether you're a Russian spy or a killer robot. You're just as strong as the other person. So it has to be this narrative thing, or else Black Widow can't fight the Flash, and she needs to be able to fight the Flash and Doctor Doom.
Maybe we should look at Aberrant.
We looked at it before, back when we didn't know a lot. Maybe we'd understand it more now.
Maybe. I just kind of want to look at it. Yeah, man.
Well, now we got a whole list of games to look at. We've officially scored our first game, which I believe ended at a 6.8 for Claim the Skies of Cypher System by Monty Cook. How do you feel? How are you feeling after that?
Interesting. I feel interesting. I've been wanting to rate stuff, but I don't like being mean.
I don't think we're mean. I don't think we're mean at all.
Yeah.
These are opinions.
Yeah.
And it got a 6.8. And
it got a 6.8, and I don't think I would put it on the buy list.
It's got a 6.8, and I wouldn't. If I went to a store and I picked this up and I browsed through it, I wouldn't buy both of these books.
Yeah.
And I might not buy Cypher System by itself.
Yeah.
But I would not. I still think a 7 or a 6.8 is a good score for this game. I just don't think that I would buy it.
That's fair. Yeah, no. So like on Board Game Geek, I always say anything above a 6 is buyable because they're brutal. And so I don't know. I hope we weren't too harsh. I do like it. I do feel like that was a decent score. Yeah. No, I guess I feel good. Yeah. I'm gonna have to come up with like some sort of rating graphic or something, where boxes pop up or a number falls out. I don't know.
Well, that's not that yet. Let me see. I was gonna look up the Board Game Geek review, but they actually don't have one for this game.
Oh, interesting. You want to compare? See how we did?
Yeah, I was just curious if they pooped on it or not.
Cypher System RPG review. So I don't know who did this one. Oh, the Gaming Gang gave it a 4.5 out of 5, which I feel is absolutely wrong.
Man, that's really high.
That's way too high. I would say 4 at most.
8 out of 10?
Someone gave it an 8 out of 10?
Well, that's 4 out of 5 is an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. So we're just one below that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Maybe we're just
I stand by it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stand by it no matter what. I feel like our official score should be 7. Because maybe I was a little harsh on some of the numbers, but yeah. Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Unless
you've got anything, I'm ready to see everybody tomorrow night, or actually, it may be tomorrow afternoon, it may be tomorrow evening. We're actually going to be working with an indie developer tomorrow. We're actually working with Gallant Knight Games, who, of course, they've been on before. Alan Barr is their creator-founder. They have another project now that they're working with, and it's by Jim Davies. And tomorrow, he's available between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern and 12 and 1:30. So we're going to try to make one of those time slots work, but we're going to bring you some more indie games and talk to a developer. Yeah. Next week, Wednesday will be Dune. We're at Dune's Day. Laura won't be here, though. She has to do Laura things. And Thursday will be more of this, of us reading superhero stuff. So tune in if you want to see that. We're fresh out the box. I'm Casualty CDG, and you can find me at Casualty CDG. We're here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And every other Saturday, we're recording Fresh Out the Podcast. We talk about shows and movies and all sorts of stuff. If you guys want to follow us on Spotify and Apple and what's the other ones? The Podbean and Google Podcasts. We're on everything, I think.
Nice emote, Vampire. I saw you make those on your live stream. But yeah, So I'm Hananon, Game Master Extraordinaire, whatever. I'm at RockFact on Twitter. You can follow me. You can talk shit about my review. I don't care. You're not going to hurt my feelings, probably. You're irrelevant. But, no, seriously, add me on Twitter. And thank you so much for watching. We love you guys. Take it easy.